Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Unshakable Soul podcast. I am Sophia Wood Massicotte. I'm the host of this podcast, and here is where we will uncover the magic and the mystery of our divine human experience. It's been a while, and I'm excited to announce that I'll be launching more of these episodes during this summer 2025. I'm taking a full break from my programs this summer and my weekly classes, so it's all about rejuvenating my heart, my body, my soul, and also incubating the next projects to come. So in the meantime, I'm always creating. If you know me, you know she's always doing something, whether it's in the kitchen cooking, whether it's doing a podcast or meditation, or just frolicking in nature and singing and dancing. I'll be creating more of these episodes because I have a lot of transmission, a lot of sharings that I want to share. So for today, it is episode 61, and I want to speak to the thematic of living in our own feminine rhythm, which is the big topic around my next project, which is a beautiful immersive experience called Sacred Cycles Women's Retreat, which is going to be going on September 2025 from the 19th to 21st. So if you're around the Ottawa area, or you're in Canada, or you're looking to come to the National Capital region of Canada, then I'll invite you. It's a weekend-long retreat, 2 nights, 3 days, and we'll be talking all about the menstrual cycle, the moon cycle, our body wisdom. We'll be connecting as sisters. We'll be maybe skinny dipping in the basically private lake we have. It's gonna be amazing. Howling at the moon, perfectly timed with the new moon coming the 21st or 20th and the autumn equinox. Anyways, if you can feel my passion and excitement for this, wow, it's going to be potent. And it's my first retreat, and the next ones that are going to come are going to be international. So even if you can't make it to the Ottawa region in Canada, stay tuned, because maybe I'll be coming close to you. Maybe Guatemala next year, maybe Colombia. Anyways, that's to come later. Come back, Sophia, come back. So for today, I'm super excited. I'm going to chat about this, the thematic, and really the juicy conversation that could be taking over many of these episodes, which is the feminine rhythms and our own body wisdom. So for today, I want this to be more general, because I did create a beautiful PDF guide for you beautiful ladies out there, which is 33 pages. It's called Moon Body Wisdom, and that really dives into the 4 stages of our inner seasons and goes into the nutrition guidelines, the movement guidelines, the herbal guidelines, and some journaling prompts to just support you throughout those cycles. Now, caveat, you do not need to be menstruating to receive insights and wisdom from what I'm sharing and from these teachings. This is for women for all stages. And knowing that I do have male listeners out there, it's also for my men out there, my brothers, that perhaps have a girlfriend or a wife, a partner, or even a sister and a mother, that you're kind of like questioning their energies and choices, perhaps, and behaviors, and seeing it's ever changing. Well, welcome to the beautiful mystery of being a woman. So this is also for you. So I want to just open up with a little bit about my own story of living in my own rhythm, or lack of, basically, and what it actually means to me and how it's impacted me. So the way that I've been impacted was from a complete severing from my body. Way back when, 10 years ago, I lost my period, and full caveat, I still don't have it back. But I've gained a lot of tools and practices that are bringing me back into my body. And I realized that, hey, like, sure, I'm not menstruating, but I still feel the energetics each time there's a full moon, each time I'm in a dark moon phase. Like, I now know that I'm riding a wave, just like my fellow sisters that are still menstruating. Okay, so take it from me. If you are in menopause, you're not even with your period, or your period is irregular, this is for everybody. And I was in this self-sabotaging loop of overeating, binge eating, and then completely cutting off from any food, and then over-exercising, and really self-sabotaging and completely disconnecting myself from my body. And it was quite brutal, to be honest, and I had to go through a lot of stuff and go down really within me to see what was it that I was holding within me, which wound was here that needed to be felt and seen and acknowledged. And it turned out to be the mother wound, right? So even though this self-sabotaging behavior started or was triggered from a breakup, a relationship breakup, it all was bringing me back home, right? Bringing me back home to my mother physically, and just getting really curious on, well, what was her relationship with her body? What was her relationship with her mom? Like, how does she move through life? What have I inherited from her? Right? And with a lot of compassion and just objective curiosity. And I realized that I was acting like a man for a lot of my life. Sure, I grew up with a brother, and I'm still blessed. Like, I love my brother. He's 2 years older, so I was a bit of a tomboy. And I remember always being annoyed that I was mistaken as a boy growing up. I had shorter hair, and I was doing kind of skateboarding and playing with video games and go-karts and whatnot. I don't know, like boy stuff, typical boy stuff in quotation, right? If you want to categorize things for now. And I had these jeans with flowers, and somebody in Paris told me, like, and what do you boys want, when we were buying baguette? And I was like really mad. I was like, I'm a girl. Anyways, it all came down to these aha moments throughout the past 3 years, actually, where I'm like, oh my gosh, I now understand why I am not honoring any facet of my feminine essence. Like dressing in ways that are very manly, always being with guys, which I love my brothers. I probably still have more guy friends than girlfriends. But I walk through life and I move through life much more in my feminine essence now. But I had to cultivate her, and I had to feel her in me. And the journey for me wasn't only cultivating the feminine essence, the receptivity, the softness, the fluidity, the grace, the self-love, to be honest, this allowing myself to be loved, to be supported, this receptivity. Right? Listening to my body, the intuition that flows through me. It was a lot to do with actually healing my masculine wound. Okay? So my masculine was operating on, like, we're pushing forward. And it was not divine masculine. Divine masculine is, I'm present here for all of the fullness of the feminine. And I'm holding you, and you're safe. Basically, the masculine provides safety to the feminine. And I'm used to masculine and feminine doesn't mean male is masculine, females are feminine. We both have these energies within us, and it's up to us to notice if they're off balance or if they're working in harmony. So for me, for most of my 20s, I was in complete burnout. But I had energy because I was young, and I'm doing quotation mark, because I'm like, you could have energy at 6 years old, right? But I was on overdrive. I was very chronically stressed, walking on eggshells in my relationship, burnt out, disconnected from my body, hyper productive. So there was a lot of mending to do with my masculine energy and being like, whoa, what are you working for? Are you just, what I was doing is I was depleting my feminine energy, my feminine essence, my life force energy, my power as a woman, as a sacred woman. My masculine in me was depleting my feminine energy, and my feminine essence that just wants to be loved, to be held, to connect intimately with life, with herself, with another, did not feel safe. Did not feel safe to actually share her truth and be vulnerable, which is another key word for feminine power. Be vulnerable. Okay? So I had to work a lot on that masculine energy. So this reclamation of my feminine power was really dismantling the internalized patterns of this hustle, this I need to work hard, I need to kind of force my way and control my body, control my environment, control my food. It was just this grasping, this holding on, and it was taking so much of my energy, right? There was also the people pleaser in me. There was this, what will happen if I ruffle feathers, and like, am I too much? So again, this like walking on eggshells, especially with my romantic partnership and with my mom, the two biggest relationships for me that impacted me. Okay. So I share my story because I know it's not different than many of the women that are out there. We live, women in the first world modern culture and countries, a lot of us in our minds, we're hyper aroused, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, a lot in fight or flight. We feel our life is a burden. This is a harsh word. And we cannot seem to relax. And again, because we don't feel safe to relax. Okay? And this is not about demanding or putting all the load on your man, if you have a man, or whatever, your colleagues. It's about honoring your boundaries and really listening to your body and allowing your body and your inner rhythms and your energy and your cycles to guide you so that you are in your center and allowing yourself space to move through the motions. Because what tends to happen is that we're either an emotional wreck and just projecting all of our wounds on our partners, or we're bottling everything up and breeding resentment. Okay? A lot of this is a resistance to the flow of life, a resistance to the flow of emotion and energy through us. A lot of our suffering is I am resisting myself. I am not allowing a part of myself to come online. So in the PDF guide, Moon Body Wisdom, I speak of 4 archetypes that we go through during the month. The maiden, the mother, the enchantress or seductress, and the crone or the medicine woman. Right? And this is huge. As women, we need to remember we're not meant to be working like men. We're not meant to be living like men in the circadian rhythm, the 24-hour cycle. We have an infradian cycle, which is more than a 24-hour cycle. Right? Our energy, our emotions, our mood works with the moon. Okay, so the more we honor that, the more we get to realize and remember that, whoa, like, I am multifaceted. Like, my PMSing is actually the wild woman coming out in me. And she's the most misunderstood. Have I been giving her space to actually voice herself? If I know wild woman's coming out soon, I'm going to be preparing the phase beforehand. So this is why when I say we're living with our own feminine rhythms, it's not this esoteric kind of like, oh, that sounds really nice. If you know me, or even if you don't, I bring things down to the practical, day-to-day, what the fuck does this mean, Sophia, in my day-to-day life? That's very cool, you're saying the maiden, the wild woman, but what does that mean? Well, it comes down to things you do every day. The food you eat, maybe you drink some tea, having some herbs, And basically, your exercise, your movement, it's the way we're managing our energy, the input and the output. That's it. We're managing the flow of our energy so that we're able to utilize the gifts and the strengths that are offered to us and that are on tap in each phase of the inner seasons that we go through. This is us reclaiming our power as women. It has nothing to do with the external world. And you may say, yeah, but Sophia, we're in this patriarchal society and blah, 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 blah. There are things you cannot control, love. Unless you want to become head, maybe of a province or the country, and you really want to make radical changes, but, who knows how much they can actually influence and change. The thing we must remember is I am responsible for what I choose to believe is possible for me, which relates to the beliefs I have about what is possible for me, which relates to the words, my spells that I cast out into the universe, which ultimately attracts back the mirroring reflection of my energy and what I believe, and is followed through by my actions. That's it. Okay? Now, when you go through these rhythms, these cycles, you're tuning into your inner seasons. You learn to move through changes with more ease and grace. Not only your own energy, but life transitions. Because now we're honoring the cycles of life and death. I know this just got deep. But if you look at your menstruation, and as the dark moon phase, as the shedding, the release, the death, and as the ovulation, as the life, the blossoming, the summer season, as the fall, as the shedding, as the releasing, the integration phase, it teaches us non-attachment. That even in the summer, it won't last, but I am fully here and radiant and alive. And even in the dead of winter, when I'm menstruating or during the dark moon, the new moon, I know this too shall pass. It's so beautiful when we realize we get to move through this all. Without pushing, without forcing, simply by riding the wave of energy. And we realize we are nature. This is the beauty of these teachings. We get to experience that every day, every week, every month, every season. Especially if you go through the 4 seasons, you're in a country that has, for now, still 4 seasons. Right? So when we are reclaiming our feminine rhythms, we're aligning our lifestyle choices, our behaviors, our movements, our food choices, and the way we socialize to the rhythm of nature, of the seasons, of the moon, of the natural flow. This is when you start riding the wave. If you've surfed, even if you haven't, just imagine this, like I'm surfing the wave. And yeah, sometimes I fall. I get back up. I'm like, cool, my table's still here. Sometimes my table breaks. My board breaks and I gotta get out, get a new board and go back in. But instead of, let's say, you're constantly tumbling in the laveuse, the washing machine, and gasping for air and not knowing how to get on your board, and another wave crashes. This is, let's say, living out of alignment with the natural flow of life. You can learn to ride the wave. At one point, the wave will break on shore, and you're gonna have to go in, either crash into the wave, swim back out, and that's the natural flow of life. Okay. So this is when we are learning to live in flow versus force. Okay, we're letting go of control, and instead we're trusting the current of life. We're trusting that our body knows. Our body knows how to heal. Our body knows how to release energy. But we have to allow it. We have to give it space to do what it does best, which is heal, transform, and alchemize. Experiences, food, thoughts. What tends to happen is we hold on. We hold on for way too long to experiences, people, places, thoughts, beliefs that no longer serve us. This is what causes suffering. It has nothing to do with your partner, with the government, with society. You can say, yes, we're influenced by that, but we have power here in choosing what to believe, how to act, when to rest, how to nourish yourself, how to basically fill your cup so that you can outpour from a filled cup. So when we learn to ride these inner rhythms, the waves, the currents in life and the seasons with the moon, we remember we have a choice. We activate our sacred boundaries, our no. Especially during the waning gibbous, the luteal phase, when we're more prone to retreat. It's integration phase. Like, I don't want to be outwardly as I was in ovulation. I'm saying no a bit more. And I want to honor my sacred yes, which is the ovulation phase. It's the yes. It's also the follicular phase. There's a spring. It's like, yes to this new adventure. Yes to this. And we're using discernment. Where to channel my energy. But if I did not integrate in my menstruation phase, in the dark moon, in the new moon, my energy may be splattering all over the place in the next cycles. The dark moon is deep wisdom. It's our time to be within, to be like pampering ourselves with extra self-care and extra me time. It's our little retreat. And if we don't honor that, then the repercussions will be in the PMS symptoms that we're going to experience perhaps. And the confusion of what to say yes to, what to say no to. But when we honor each cycle, they feed into each other. And it becomes more easeful and flowing when I make decisions. I'm not confused anymore. I'm acting from truth. I'm saying no from truth. I'm saying yes from truth, from a deep soul truth of yes, of alignment. I'm trusting my body. That's it. So this is just a gentle reflection and contemplation for you. What does your rhythm feel like today? Beautiful way to start your day. Right? Placing a hand on your womb, hand on your heart, and just finding some centering in yourself. What does my energy feel like today? How do I feel in my body today? What do I need right now? It's in the sacred pause. It's in those moments where I get to choose from truth. Instead of starting my day, rush, answering emails, kids gotta go out, having that sacred pause in the early hours of the morning when you're already in this peaceful environment in nature that's being offered for you to recalibrate, recenter, and align yourself. You are preparing yourself for the day. Same thing before you go to bed, you close your day. So we can also work with these rhythms during the day. Because yes, we are functioning in a 24-hour cycle, most of us, or maybe 12, depending on if you sleep or not. Hopefully you do. Right? So the encouragement here is to have that sacred pause. Ideally 3 times a day, first thing in the morning, then maybe at midday for lunch, and then right before bed. So that we're not pulling over the energy from the day before on to the next day. If we don't have good closure, then inevitably that stress perhaps, or that experience is going to be unconsciously or consciously being pulled forward, pulled forward, pulled forward. Imagine how many days and weeks and months and years that's happened. But now you're conscious and aware, just by listening to this episode, that there's a deeper inner wisdom in your body. And if you just take the time to listen, to feel, to tune within, you can receive powerful guidance. Okay. I'm going to leave it at this. This one is a shorter episode. I'm going to be making more of these, again, as I mentioned, during the next 2 months, so July and August 2025. If you are looking to go a little bit deeper, you're like, I want to know more, then I'll invite you to read the PDF guide I created. It's completely free. It's called Moon Body Wisdom. Read it for yourself. Read it with your boyfriend, your husband, your brother. Again, this is also for men if you want to get to know your woman a little bit more and her archetypes, and what is the good thing for her to eat during these certain phases of her cycle and of the month. It's also beautiful medicine for men. Okay, so the link will be down below. And for my women, if you are in the Ottawa region or in Canada or even abroad and you're looking for an immersive experience into the thematic of reclaiming your sacred feminine rhythm, then I'll invite you to come to Sacred Cycles. So that's this year in the fall, September 19 to 21, 2025. And the link will also be in the show notes. Thank you so much, loves, for being here. And if you love this, rate it 5-star, send it to a friend. Always grateful to share the love forward.